Hi everybody, Rodham here. Thanks for tuning in to Automation Empire episode 4. So this episode, I am planning to try to streamline some of my factories so that we can get more of our goods out to the trucks more quickly and not rely on long claw train routes. So first things first, I probably need to destroy this factory and make it about as large as this one. This factory is about, I would say, ready, good to go or so. So what I'm going to do is, as you can see, that the trucks don't like that. I'm going to, bye-bye truck. Going to pause just a moment and get the layout improved on my iron processing, so that we can have all of the mines mining up and we are exporting quickly. That's sort of my goal. So in order to do this, I guess I should allow this to move a little bit longer so that it can export for the money. In order to do this, I'm going to want more than the truck stops I currently have. There we go. That one's gone. And let's put an exit. This might have to be a little weird. Far less than ideal. Maybe what I'll do instead is move these entrances a little bit off, so I can have my exit make a little bit more sense. The only worry here is, of course, this entrance needs to be... Oh, yeah, no, that worked. All right. Yeah, these entrances will be just fine. Oh, come on. There we go. And now this exit makes a little bit more sense. Drone priority doesn't really matter because I am not exactly using drones. And then here we are going to claw train these for an inner loop, meaning as short of a loop as possible so that we can get these trucks in and out quickly. So what I'm going to be doing is each loop here, we're splitting this up into half. So one of these loops will get 3 and the other will get 3. And that way we have a lot shorter tracks. These are outer loops, so we're going to correct that. They're going to be more efficient if I redo them. And the concept here is to be trying to add as much efficiency into our current layout as possible, so that when we go ahead and expand, we at least don't have any bottlenecks. Basically, we're making the most amount of money for the least amount of our effort as possible. I kind of wish there was like a delete the whole track here, but they're oops, because I'm obviously misclicking here and there and causing some unfortunate destruction. So that's a tight loop there, and we are going to be grabbing 100% of our resources from these tracks here. So I'm going to want to invest in some windows, and then I'm going to want to run the tracks to pick up the goods. And this should stop the bottleneck of our claw train, because when we had drones, we were actually a little bit more efficient than we are now. If I want to exit here, yeah, I want to exit right there. Come on. I find building these claw tracks sometimes tedious. It's not too bad, but sometimes it can be annoying. Especially with these tight little corners. All right, as silly as that looks, that will have to do. And now, as you can see, this loop is far more contained than it was before. And therefore, we'll be able to pick up... Oops, that's not what I meant to do. We'll be able to pick up the goods more quickly. Add 12, and done. And then this track is going to grab from these right here. So we could use this door and maybe this one. And do the same exact thing over here. And then we've got the loop. All right, so 6 pickups, 12 claws, etc. We're going to accept all. Drone priorities can be read. I don't really have drones anymore. And this should be working nice and smooth, which means that the towers over here probably are ready to get added back in. We are going to be exporting quickly. I might want an additional crate maker, but for now I think this should add to my efficiency. Now here's the big thing. The big thing is this factory, I think we've decided, is a little bit too small. And redoing a factory is a lot of work, but here we go. When you demolish the factory, everything inside the factory gets refunded, so there's not there's not really penalty for that. In order just to make this quicker, obviously I'm going to be destroying a lot more than I need to be, but I think it's faster just to be very destructive than to try to keep everything nice and tidy. So let's go ahead and have a different colored factory and the same size layout as my other one, because we've determined that this 5 by, yes, this size factory is plenty to house everything that we want it and need it to do. Okay. And in terms of materials, we can lay it out the same way, I guess, if we wanted to. That at least makes it simple. That makes the train run a little bit longer, but it does, like I said, make it simple. So we'll keep it simple. So when the train comes out of here, we'll do a turn. We'll go from height 1 to height 2, height 2 to height 3. At height 3, run this all the way over, contain the loop. At height 1, run all the materials through the factory, which is not necessary, but I'm just laying it out that way. Now at height 3, we are going to connect back to this track here, and I'll make it line up. All right, so now we have a full loop, and we have a lot more space. And we're going to do pretty much identically to what we did over there, but over here is all the materials go in. We share materials between 2 tanks. These 2 tanks split to the crate makers, and then the crate makers pump out materials. And then if you check over here, we will have, I'm going to stick it all the way to the wall here, just to have the center be a little bit more freed. We have the conveyors go to the center ones, and then 2 on the outside, 1 on the inside. This skips every 1. This skips every 2. And then these spit out to, we don't really need conveyors. We could just have a longer unload station. But although stations can be pricey, spit these out. Right? And then maybe we will take some of the material for research. And we'll stick that in a container. And then spit that container out to a rail track. And this is going to be a little bit better organized, or at least cleaner, or more cleanly organized. Spit that out to a rail track. And okay, that can't go there. What if it was over here? Where's the closest door? Door's there. Okay. And that means all right, well, whatever. I'll have it go like this. This sucks material up, and then this spits it out. And we have a lot of maneuvering around here if we want to have it all load up. So what I could do instead of what I had previously is just to run it like this. A little messy. That part is probably the least ideal of the whole track system. And then this track will then run over to research. Voila. So we have we haven't had the claw tracks yet, but station. I'm just despawning some trucks. Let's actually start this station right at the top of the turn, because the further down part of this here is going to be reworked. This last claw track is not going to be great compared to the first one. Because it will have to go a little bit further, but not obnoxiously so. I mean, it will work. Okay, and then we'll put a claw track loader. Obviously, these tracks are going to need to move again. I know I keep moving them. And this part of the run isn't great because it takes a long time, but this is something that we can improve with research. You can make a lot of little things faster over time with research. All right, so this is part of the track. We'll pick material up from these here. And I'm hoping once I'm done with this, our efficiency goes back up. That's really the only reason I'm doing this, is for increased efficiency. Because the game allows you to like blow anything up and get full refunds, it's, you know, there's really no penalty for dramatic redesigns like this, as long as you're making it better every iteration. So that is that part of the track. We will add the prerequisite claws, add the pickup spots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This factory obviously needs to be powered on. And then the other ones, we'll add a window here and a window there. And let's connect these up. Done. Pickup spots. And claws. Then we did cut power over here. And I know I also cut the highway. So this could travel a little bit further. So power is now back on. We're going to have to uncut this highway once that train leaves. I'd rather just have it be a straight run. Or, not train, truck. Truck leaves. Alright. And now we've got to power this section on and then send this material over to the research base. I will raise it up to second level just so it's a little faster. I'll do that immediately now that it's not in the way of the claw train. I know I just blew up a section of that, but put that back. All right. Then this goes up. And okay, the mine cars are running into the claw track. So yeah, I'll just have it stay at one level until it's past here. And then we can go up. That's the ticket. Okay. The last little bit here is to power it up. I guess this factory... Where was this power originally? It was right there. Wonderful. Well, now it's just sort of replicated here. And that should allow us increased efficiency. This part is not awesomely ideal, I will openly admit, but, you know, it'll get the job done, and that's what matters, I suppose. Alright, so here we go. It in action, and one of the advantages is we can add some additional storage. Or, if we really need it, we can add some additional manufacturing and processing to this whole queue as well. So, now that we've whittled down our excess... Oh, we seem to be... No, I thought that was going to be enough. There was probably, honestly, research in there that I just sort of nuked. I don't like it there. Let's have it be a nice old squy. Can't... There you go. Can't build here. What do you mean? Fine. Alright, there we have it. I'm going to use my current research just to speed up the trucks, making sure that we have enough trucks coming down the line, because increased truck frequency is really not that expensive. And then we have designed this factory to process pretty much all of the coal that we have available to us on this side of the map, without, you know, being too ridiculous. And then we have this factory processing all the iron. We are siphoning off some of that for research, and we're making a tidy profit. And then if we check here, currently, because I have to ramp up mining again, temporarily my export will go down, but that should hike right back up pretty soon here. The last bit is this gold export. This gold export could obviously use a huge improvement, so I'm going to start improving it. Let's get... What will need to happen over here is we'll need a much larger factory, because there's a lot of gold up the coast. So I'm probably going to queue for real expansion. Obviously not using it all right yet, but some planning to have a whole lot. So I'm going to do 4 over here. And, well, we'll have 2 there, and then... Come on, this is the entry. Must be built into the cliffside. Come on, this is in the cliffside. Oh, it's rotated inappropriately. Ho-hum. Alright. And I have to make mini loops here, so I have to figure out how to do that. That satisfies the game. So I think I'm going to push this entry, if this can move a little bit. Yeah, hopefully it can. All right, so here's the entry. Oh, well, we're getting proximity. Okay, fine. So we have an entry. I'm actually going to push that entry back as far as I can for the most amount of real estate. The entry, and then 2 stations, which will be loaded up full of gold. And I should get this back to manufacturing as soon as I'm able, so that it's not idle. And then I'm going to do a crazy weird road and have it exit right here. So this was just gonna do like a cul-de-sac loop. Okay, that will work. I will get this powered back on so that it can start being productive yet again. And connect the claw train up. And already we are able to handle more volume than before. This part of the loop can get destroyed. We don't need to go all the way back out there. We can just re-enter here, closing it closer. The shorter these loops are, you know, obviously the more efficient they'll be. Add some claws. Okay. Well, that's all set. Gold goes in, gold comes out. And then we'll be able to add some additional gold import-export. Now, the big thing here is this factory physically is going to have to move, because we are going to be processing. So we're processing 3 here. 6, 9, 11, right? So 11 is almost double of what this is. So we are going to need probably 4 crate makers rather than 2 crate makers to be able to handle all that volume. So what I'm going to do right now is whittle down my gold that I currently have and turn off those drills so I'm not paying for them. And I'm going to have a much larger footprinted factory than this one, which some of these claw trains are going to have to change. So as you can see, I'm up a little bit from where I was before in terms of export. And as I research claw train speed, which is a pretty cheap research to do, the amount of exports I'll have will go up as my claw trains get faster at what they do. But I don't want to waste any money, so I will let this factory process the remainder of this gold. And then if you take a look at the unlock, the combiner is really probably the next big thing. And then it's a freight train thereafter. Oh, we don't have a minecart here. That would be the problem. Alright, I'm not going to be able to fit 2 minecars on there, so I'll remove one and reverse it. I could move this over if I wanted to. Or even add in... you know, I'll have 2 minecars. Let's bring that one back. And that should get the second and third research going. We'll add 2 minecars on here too, just in case. I kind of doubt that a normal usage will ever have the need. All right, that's used up enough. I'm going to pause, demolish the factory, and then I'm going to have a rather large factory, but I don't think it's unnecessarily pricey. It just will have to house a lot of stuff. Okay, there's my doors. And I'm not saying that this is the best layout. I certainly did not min-max this. I didn't run the numbers. I'm sure you could find more efficient layouts. This isn't the end-all be-all, I suppose what I'm saying. But it works. So what I could do here is double it up like this. And then run it like that. Then as far as crate makers go, I obviously am not mining what I need to make this worth the double loop yet. But I can at some point. Make sure it's unpowered. And then what we'll have is a lot of refiners. And I'm keeping a close eye on how much cash I have, what my cash flow looks like. And snake my conveyors around so that every single refiner can grab material. And there's still plenty of real estate in this factory to send processed gold somewhere. I'll work that out later. I'm more interested about getting this productive first. And then another thing I could probably do, it wouldn't be a terrible idea, is a circular loop at some point. But for now, we can just have it have the train run its course and then reverse. So as you can see, I don't have necessarily all the money that I need to add all that. So what I'll do is I will kill the center bits and add those in later once my gold starts stockpiling. So let's get this hooked up and cooking. Oh, come on. I have to go all the way out to the corner? Yeah, I suppose I do. All right. So that's powered on, and then I have to run the power over to the mining. And I cut the power here. Okay, we're in business. Now, it's entirely possible that I'll actually need to run multiple tracks, just because I'm not going to have the capacity to train all of that gold. So maybe I should plan for that. What I should do, if that's the case... Now let me reverse this. And finish the claw train track, at least for this side. It's funny that the goes to no window. I mean, I did destroy the factory, but that we'd have the train track so close. Another thing I should do is turn this off because I'm not really using that side. I'm only using this side at the moment. I don't have the setup. So this is going to skip every 2, and this is going to skip every 1. And that will start to get stuff exported. And then I have to figure out how I want to pick up this material. I think that's probably the easiest. This needs to extend considerably further. And then I'll plan to have a separate train track for that side, just because I don't think one train can hold all of that. Or one minecart, I should call it. All right, so that's that run. Enough room to have it run off. And then what I would need to do is to set up a separate track for the remainder of the run here. So let's spend some capital visualizing that. As ugly as it is, between areas, I'm going to want to have it run as fast as we can. And then I can decide if this is the end of the track or the start. I'll have it be the end. And luckily, all of my other resources are exporting nicely so that I'm not siphoning off resources here while running this. All right, insufficient funds. I could have this line up quite nicely, couldn't I? Probably should. Huh. Maybe it doesn't. I'm not going to worry too much about it. Then what I'm going to need to do is to probably, well, here's what I could do. I could have this minecart run in. And obviously we can't, like, park it on the roof. But we can enter the building at level 2. And stay at height 2. So that we keep the lines and rails separated. I'd probably want to enter over to the side, though. Like that, at height 2. Just like that. All right, so those aren't powered on yet, so I'm not paying for them, which is good. They also don't have intakes or transfer tubes. So now at height 2, I could do something crazy, like running my trains in here like this, cutting the track at some, point, and trying to connect it back up. So I think I'll have it so that it can turn just like that. So I'll move this track even down another window just for the maneuver space. And that telephone pole is literally in the way perfectly. And that's powered back on. Good. I mean, in truth, I think this is quite ugly, but it's going to function, and for this series, that's literally all I care about. I know I could care about more, but... Alright, so a too high track comes in, drops to 1, and connects over here. Then on this track here, what I could do is have it curve around. Or actually, you know what I could do? Which would allow me to unload even better, is to have this go back up to too high and run its course like this. And that way, a lot of the train goes over the intakes. And turn that on. And now soon this will be processing over here. Will be processing over there. This just needs train cars. I think I have both set to 10. I don't need so much of a rotation around that. Good. And the last thing I would need to do is to start sending gold to be processed. Now, if I wanted to use the middle, let's say I did, right? Because eventually I was going to do that. I would bring... We would enter from over here. Yeah, I just should do that. This is weird and a little ugly. There we go. And then the remainder of this track can run under. And what I'll do is something like this. I will have the extra track go out so it doesn't interrupt. Well, I can't make that kind of turn, can it? Oh, if only it could be like a nice loop like that. So, yeah, some of these aren't tracking over. I'll have to figure out a viable solution for this. I think this will work. Let's see what fits. Alright, so that's a little... well, that could work. So this can run out that way. So I only really need one conveyor coming out of here. Where is this train anyway? Oh yeah, that car... doesn't pick up anything yet. Honestly, I'm not generating enough power for it to anyway. So I might want to take a look at how much power I'm going to be consuming when this gets added in. But luckily, all of my other exports are bankrolling everything. So I don't, at the moment, need to worry about bankrupting myself because all the coal and iron are making good bucks. Oh, apparently I have enough. Cool. Claiming some of this. What's my export weight? So we're almost... oh, yeah. Oh, so my record went up a little bit, but we're not quite there yet. For claw train speed, I will upgrade that a few times. And that should help some of the longer loops. And now the next time this inside track comes back, it will be yielding gold. Alright, so this path here has a dreadful need for export. So let's go ahead and hook this up to a highway. So what we were going to do is we're going to have a whole lot, aren't we? This is probably the more complicated bit, which is how to import a lot of roads for this. This is the complex bit. So there's two right there. And then that can go back to an exit. I have insufficient funds. Alright. That means I should just roll time. My guess is the truck loader. Oh no, it's not blocked by that. It's blocked by this part though. So I might run at one height here. Nope, just paid for like a power bill or something. I got pretty poor. Come on, sell off some stuff. There we go. All right, this shouldn't be in the way. I think it kind of looks like a roller coaster. Oh no, come back. I can just turn it around in a second if I need to. While being slayed by funds. Alright, well, I can kill the entry and exit just to be able to complete it, and then we'll get it rebuilt. Alright, so this is an entry. Exit. Good, got that loop done. Now in here, we will grab... We'll grab what comes off of the line here to go feed that line. I know we're not manufacturing any of that yet. We'll just have to be patient for it. All right, here comes the gold. This is going to fill up, of course, because we're not using any of this yet. Or not even. It won't even fill up, because there's not even space. Let's turn this off. Go. Now at least these trucks will start to get loaded up. And what I will do is aim for this. Oh man, every time my power bill comes in, every time I make a buck. All the research is being set up. The claw arms are really moving. The fact that we have nothing... Oh, well, this is an error. There we go. The fact that we have very, very little resources on the unload stations means that everything is coming out of the factory really as fast as it could be, which is exactly how you want it, right? You don't want idle resources. This is sort of the just-in-time theory of manufacturing. And probably the moment I get to spend... Oh no, it's not making me spend this. Okay, so this whole part here I'm gonna kill. I know, so sad because I had it all laid out, but I need the money, and this is one way to make the money. Is we will get a conveyor. Oh, that's too tight of a turn. Pause. There we go. That will have to be long. Or you know what? We could even... Is there... Oh, there's almost space to do that. There will be, as soon as I move this. Beautiful. Now it's, we can load that back up. So we'll have this pull from here. Ah, wonderful. And now this is a long enough run that we can unload all the resources that we need. Okay, so that works. Skip every 2. Skip every 1. And unload. Pause it. So these are going to be grabbing it from here and exporting it over there. So let's go ahead and make some holes in the side of the building where appropriate. My guess is this 3-high track. Actually, the 3-high track doesn't seem to be... Yeah, the claw train doesn't have a problem with that. That's very cool. We'll just have to be careful where it runs. Mine track is in the way. So we'll just run it over there. Messy, but you know what? As I keep saying, I just care that we're getting goods out of the door and not so much about making it picture perfect or anything like that. Just making it work. That's the important bit. If you want it beautiful, you can spend the time making it beautiful, but beautiful factory might be actually an indicator of an efficient factory, but doesn't necessarily mean the factory makes more money. Okay, so now we have the loaders for this pot of gold, more or less is what it is. We are going to start setting up for the other one. I do have to turn this transfer tube on. Now the other side. I think what I'll do is I'll try to push it together so I can start capturing gold for research purposes as well. This goes down and around. Okay. And the other side is processing as well. This here needs claws. Come on, something sell. There. 4 claws will be a good start. And we'll start making money from this other side. Let's take a look at research. Just hit the thresholds. Now, my export weight hasn't really gone up much because I'm in the process of re-engineering everything. But we'll max out truck intervals and soon max out the claw speed, movement speed. All right, there's all the claws. Now, the more complicated bit, I would say, is how to get more roads in. So I need to wait a second. Make a little bit more money. This track here, I'm going to remove the mine carts because we aren't currently using it. We're not really using any of the materials. I'll add them back in, but this gives me an opportunity to run cables that are independent from the mining towers. And that way, power won't cut oddly. Yeah, I hear you. There we go. So we're actually only using this side. And this allows me to bankroll a new entry, possibly. So I'm going to move this exit, take up the least amount of room. Sorry, gold truck. I do apologize for destroying you. Alright, so this entrance is going to be a little funky. I think instead of pit stops, I need to worry about where my next entry can be. So now I have to have two roads running out like this. It's possible. Well, it might be possible. We'll have to see. I could just have a dead entry that doesn't actually generate trucks, and then use this one. That's a possibility. If I can't figure out how to wing this. This could be a little bit longer, and that way it doesn't get in the way. Yeah, that's probably the way to do it. Alright, so trucks come in over here and over here. So these are both valid runs. I'm going to put some truck stops there. And I'm going to build some truck stops. Sorry, mining stuff down road. Truck stops here. And this will be for this side. So then this will run, and these will run all the way back out. After this, we are really not going to have a lot of capacity. I guess I can have that'll be a little tighter. We're not really going to have a lot of capacity for additional, trucks or roads and stuff like that. It'll be really, really tough to add more without trains. All right, so those should be, it is indeed powered on. Now they're valid loops, and therefore generating trucks. And now we have, this is not a valid loop, obviously. I have destroyed this. Gonna have to re-engineer this. So I'm gonna make making this one work a priority, and then I will make the others work. But I might have to kill some stuff first. Let's get that out of the way. So, as awkward and uncoordinated as possible, and still yet functional. All right, there we have it. We do need to add in some truck stops back on this. Pit stops. And then here as well, but that's in the way. One here and one there. Okay, and we are all set. We now have a huge amount of gold export capacity. So let's set up the claw train. The height of this is a little bit of an issue, but if I run it out a teeny bit like that, actually, you know what? We'll have these exit like this. Can't build here. I beg your pardon. Oh, maybe that was in the way. Yeah, it was. Okay, so this one will go in the factory here and here. You can only have one per. And that will be a circuit. Oh, come on. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Rotate. Sometimes it likes to fight. All right, that looks good. All right, so those two are going to export. And then we have to process the other side. Is there enough room to run all the... Yeah, there is. Skip over 2, skip over 1. And now we've got a whole lot of gold processing in this giant facility that has taken me quite a long time to manufacture, if I'm being honest. Okay, so this last track, actually, we should just have it spit up the front here. Right here and here. And then these are going to load these last two. All right, so this track can get destroyed. Cool. I know this episode ran a little long, but it's one complete idea, I think. Come on. Sometimes it really doesn't want to turn. Alright, that telephone pole clearly is smack dab in the middle of the way. We'll reroute it. There we are. Like nothing ever happened. I'm like a public works nightmare with how slapdash this is. Alright, so we have that part of the track done. Guess we really have to exit here, so I'll rework that a little bit. Soon we'll be rolling in dough from all of my exports. So these are all pickup spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Add a bunch of claws. And now it's just up to fine tuning. But we have... Coming off of this one gold processing, we've got 8 truck pit stops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And a bunch of the claws. 1 network, 2 networks, 3 networks, and 4 networks, all loading up those 8 trucks. Which means if I left this running long enough, oh, well, there we go. Our record is $6,000 export, which gives us enough to unlock the combiner once we have the research points. Well, guys, that's all the time I have for this episode. Sorry it ran a little long, but I hope it has been informative of me trying to min-max the amount of resources I have at my fingertips. Next episode likely to be efficiency boost and starting to do stuff like combining. Thanks for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. I'll catch you all next time. Adios.